Assalamu alaikum. I recently listened to a lesson and it shook me to the core. I felt a pressing need to share it with you today as an opportunity to reflect, inshallah. If we were asked, what is the greatest threat or most dangerous thing to your Iman, what would you answer generally? We may think about major sins, things that are haram, alcohol, adultery, theft, things that are clearly cut forbidden. Well, here's what the Prophet, peace be upon him, has to say about this. There is nothing more dangerous to a person's faith like two wolves that are let free among the flock of sheep. The sheep here being your Iman and the wolves being the threat. They are the love of wealth and the love of fame that a person has. These are the two major threats to one's Iman or faith. It isn't those things that are haram or major sins. It is the love of wealth and the love of fame. Does this mean that wealth or fame is a bad thing? No. The Prophet, peace be upon him, has taught us to have the upper hand rather than the lower hand, so we do not beg. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us to ask for the best in this world and the hereafter. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً. But if a person has a desire for this world and for its materialistic aspects, and they constantly pursue more and more wealth to an extent that they become consumed with this, then they will find themselves in a situation where they will resort to unethical things, where they will start to place expectations in that wealth, which will ultimately take them away and distract them from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The desire for fame also causes the same damage to a person's behavior, thereby also causing the person to resort to unethical behaviors, which may ultimately lead them to commit haram or a sin. So how can we protect ourselves from these two wolves? The Prophet, peace be upon him, has given us a few tips. Firstly, we need to observe our Iman this Ramadan, assess our protection mechanisms. Are these two wolves lurking around our lives? Secondly, charity. If you force yourself to give a certain amount in charity for every time you earn money, it becomes routine, and what you are actually doing is killing off any likelihood of attaching to your wealth. Thirdly, the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us not to be too extravagant in our spending and understanding the difference between needing something and wanting something, not only for ourselves, but also for our homes, for our children, and so on. And what better time to train yourselves and discipline yourself than this month? Lastly, training yourself to sacrifice things that are readily available to you. For example, Umar radiallahu anhu said, if you have a comfortable bed, don't always sleep on it. This helps you have a greater appreciation of things and also teaches you gratitude and humility. And ultimately, gratitude is the best prescription for an over-attachment to things in this dunya. As for fame, the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us to never pursue anything for the sight of the people, but instead for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah help us identify these two wolves and protect us from them this Ramadan.
من العصيان واعتقني من النيران يسر لي حفظ القرآن واحفظني من زلة لساني أعظني من العصيان واعتقني من النيران